To live effectively is to live with adequate information. Imagine aiming a gun at a plane and always missing, not because you're careless, but because you shoot it where the plane was. Somewhere in the noise between sighting and firing, time steals the truth. Norbert Wiener stares into that gap and sees a universal problem. The future is a moving target. The only way to hit it is to learn from your miss now. He names the method Cybernetics. Control and communication in the animal and the machine. The heartbeat, the thermostat, the pilot correcting for wind, everything that lives or works well is a loop that takes a signal in, acts, listens, and acts again. It begins with war. Radar finds a speck. The speck becomes a bomber. The bomber becomes a threat. But the gun crew on the ground is late by definition. Even perfect aim is obsolete if the world moves between your decision and your delivery. In the orbit of MIT's radiation laboratory, Norbert Wiener and his collaborators build something audacious, an anti-aircraft predictor. It estimates where the plane will be, not where it is, by learning from patterns in the pilot's motion. The predictor feeds back the difference between what happened and what was expected and uses that error to correct the next shot. Wiener realizes the pattern is bigger than gunnery. Systems, biological, mechanical, social, live on information and feedback. If you can describe how a thing senses, decides, and acts, you can describe how it stabilizes or how it spirals. He reaches for a word from Greek, Cybernetics, the helmsman. Steering is signal and correction. He writes one book to frame the math cybernetics and another to frame the morals, the human use of human beings. One shows how loops work. The other asks what they're for. Every worthwhile change looks like a loop. We set a goal, we act, we get a signal back, we update. Act. Good loops produce a moving stability. Bad loops amplify noise until a system tears itself. If your team swings from crisis to crisis, it's often because the feedback is late, loud, or wrong. A well-tuned loop has 4 virtues: the right signal, at the right speed, with the right gain, measured against the right goal. If you measure the wrong thing, you control the wrong thing. If you measure too slowly, the world moves away. If your gain is too high, you overcorrect and oscillate. If your goal is undefined, every correction is chaos. Modern life begins with a signal. What truly indicates health in your project or life? Not likes, but retention. Not total emails, but response time. Not arbitrary weight, but resting heart rate. Choose one signal per goal that is close to the cause and cheap to observe. Then choose speed. How often can you safely adjust without thrashing people? For a code team, daily stand-ups. For a budget, weekly tracks. For your sleep, nightly. Gain is humility. How big should the correction be? A nudge when you're close. A push when you're far. And the goal must be plain. We tell the truth on Fridays in the metrics, even when it hurts. We ship small on Wednesdays. We are kind past 8 p.m. Wiener's predictor didn't rage at the plane, it listened. That's the move. In real life, listening means shortening the distance between action and information. Tell me sooner. Show me clearly. Let me fix it small before I must fix it big. Feedback cuts to ways. Same mathematics that holds a temperature steady can drive a crowd mad. Positive feedback amplifies a signal. A mic hears a mic hears a mic until the speakers scream. Markets do this when a rumor becomes a run. Social media when outrage becomes oxygen. Your calendar when every emergency begets another because responding fast is rewarded over responding well. The machine is not the monster, the design is. Without brakes, any system that rewards speed and noise will optimize for speed and noise. Wiener opposed autonomous systems that removed human judgment where it mattered. Not because he hated automation, but because he knew who would be automated. Vulnerable workers first, then the rest of us by degrees, until decisions are faster than responsibility. Designing brakes is leadership. We put rate limits on processes that tempt runaway. We place friction where the stakes are high. A second approval for a layoff, cooling off period for a public post. A manual review for anything that touches safety or dignity. You make the slow path the easy path for critical decisions. You shift the reward from who shouted first to who corrected us best. A brake is not an insult to speed. It's what makes speed livable. We drive faster safely because brakes exist. Your organization can move faster safely because you add brakes where consequences are permanent. Then comes the question that turns machines back into people. What is the human for in an automated loop? If the answer is to click OK faster, we've insulted both the human and the loop. The right answer is, the human sets the goal and judges the exception. Machines are exquisite at patterns. People are responsible for meaning. In the name of efficiency, we drift toward systems that treat people as expendable actuators. If a factory learns to ignore its workers, it will train its customers to be invisible. If an algorithm learns to reward only time and sight, it will train us to be addicted. Keeping the human in the loop is not nostalgia. It is ethics expressed as design. How do you do it? Define the boundary conditions where automation stops and conscience begins. No denial without a human. No takedown without appeal. No permanent action without two signatures. Build explainability into your loops. If a system can't say why it acted, it shouldn't act where rights are at stake. Pair every metric with a counter metric, so the loop can overfit one good thing into a bad world. Engagement with satisfaction, speed with accuracy, output with well-being. Remember the loop in you. A person is also a cybernetic system. Senses, decisions, actions, feedback. Sleep is your rate limiter. Friends are your explainability. Silence is your censor. If your personal loop only listens to applause, you will become a shape that applause can love and reality cannot use. Norbert Wiener didn't offer a religion of machines. He offered a craft for steering. Choose your signal with care. Shorten the distance between action and truth. Design brakes where harm sticks. Keep a person where meaning sits. A thermostat is stupid and faithful. A mob is smart and faithless. Leadership at home, at work, in civic life is the helmsman. Take in the weather, touch the wheel, feel the ship answer. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Your world is a loop. Teach it to listen. Teach it to stop. Teach it to serve. A lab in wartime. A new word for a very old act. And a choice daily. Will our feedback make us feral or free?